Change is part of our daily life. Changing jobs, company, location, role, methods, etc. Preparing for these changes is not always easy. Let's start with a question. What is the simplest definition of the word change? Change means going from state A to state B. All living systems change on a constant basis. There are two main types of change to distinguish between. Gradual change that takes us from A to B in small stages, and radical change, which takes us from A to B in one go. If the path from situation A to situation B represented 100%, then gradual change would represent 100 times 1%, while radical change would represent 1 times 100%. Experience tells us that at some point, every company or organization is faced with the need to make a drastic change in order to rise to a higher level of performance. Think about this for a moment. How many companies have not been able to pass over this hurdle? A change can either be imposed on us or initiated by us. Therefore, we need to know how to react and adapt to the change in time, so we can be proactive and prepare for it. Knowing that, statistically speaking, we end up having more changes imposed on us than changes we initiate. First of all, let's consider an initiated change. We'll start by taking a few moments to identify an example that you can use as a reference point in your journey. In general, when we initiate a change, what emotion do we feel? Enthusiasm, which confirms our naivety, as we often idealize the situation and think that everyone will have the same reaction as us, which stops us from seeing potential obstacles before they occur. This is why the second stage is associated with more of a wake-up call, generally caused by results that fail to meet our expectations, and of course by the reactions of those around us who do not welcome the change. We then feel surprised, disappointed, which eventually leads to doubt, and this can sometimes even make us feel abandoned. Just like when an athlete doubts themselves, we need to get a second wind so we can re-engage and get back on track. Our convictions, our values, and even those around us can give us those first positive results to help us do this. This can help to restore our confidence and make us realize that the objective is within our reach. Once we have achieved our objective and overcome the obstacles, we reach the last stage, accomplishment. In conclusion, what do these curves and elements linked with change make you think about? What changes would you like to initiate? Now let's look at when a change is imposed on us. Let's start by taking a few moments to identify one from your own journey. When a change is imposed on us, the stages are very different as we start the first phase in a completely different frame of mind. Think about this for a moment. In general, what is our first reaction? It's negative. It's an expression of our denial. This generally leads to an emotion such as anger. Then, in an attempt to hold on to the past, we feel a sense of nostalgia and/or sadness, which can be seen in phrases like, "It was better before." Then we start looking towards the future and may begin to feel fear for what lies ahead. This fear generally leads us to look for compensation to allow us to find a certain balance. From this point on, we are ready to make a choice, to decide to accept the change, or decide to take another path. When the decision is yes, we then start making adjustments, so we can be fully committed to the change. When a change is imposed on us, It can be experienced with varying degrees of intensity. How can I manage my own transitions or changes? As a manager, how can I adopt the right attitude for the stage my employees are in? To answer this question, carry out the next exercise.